Hi, this is Liz with Senior Tech Connect. Welcome to our How to Set Up a YouTube Account video. Now, why would you want to set up a YouTube account? Well, in order to get access to all the functions within YouTube, to like and comment on videos, to subscribe to channels, create playlists, see your watch history, you need to be logged in to YouTube with an account. In this video, we're going to cover the two options, the two ways that you can create that YouTube account. One is using your current email, and the other is creating a YouTube account or Gmail account. But before we talk about those details and go through the steps that you'll need to take, a few reminders. First off, thank you so very much for all that you are doing to make a difference in our world. We are glad that you are here and choosing to spend some of your time today with us. Here at Senior Tech Connect, our motto is you're never too old to learn something new or relearn something forgotten. And to help you with that, we have a note sheet that we have created for this video. It walks you through all the steps that we're going to cover in the video. So after the video, you can go get that note sheet and follow the steps for whichever one you decide to do. And it walks you through all of the different steps so that you'll be able to accomplish the task that we'll cover in the video as soon as you're done watching. And then lastly, we do so very much appreciate you watching the video and then sharing us, our channel, and our content with your friends and family that you think that this could help. Let's get started. In order to utilize all of YouTube's functions, you need to have an account. Well, what kind of functions does that open up to you? One is to like and comment on videos. Most people that make YouTube videos will ask you to like them or click the thumb or click the like button. Others will ask you to subscribe to their channel. And those three things, like, comment, and subscribe, are all things that help channels to grow. It helps YouTube to know that people are watching their videos and that they're interacting with those videos, that people are liking the videos and they're commenting on them. And those three things, like, comment, and subscribe, affect YouTube's algorithm. And the algorithm is what will suggest videos to people that are logged in. So they'll say, oh, Liz likes this kind of stuff, so here's another channel that does similar stuff, so let's suggest that she check out this other channel. And so those three things are things that most content creators, like Senior Tech Connect, will ask you to do. And if you're not logged in, you can't do that. The next thing is one of my absolute favorites, is to create playlists to watch later, or if there's videos that you want to watch again and again and again. I personally will create a playlist. I have some for my favorite music to listen to when I'm exercising or when I need to be creative, those kinds of things. I have different playlists that I use that that are made up of different YouTube videos. I also, if I'm working on any house projects around the house, I will watch videos. I'll do a search and find, how to do this. And then I will find my favorite people that have given me good suggestions, and I'll put those into a playlist for that particular project. So creating playlists, we'll cover how to do that in a different video, but just it's one of the best things. I love doing that with YouTube. You can also access your watch history, which is helpful when, like, you watch something earlier in the day and then you want to share it with somebody else and you're like, I can't remember what it was called or anything. So you can then go to your watch history and go, oh, that's what it is. And so then you're able to more easily share that with other people. That's really handy to increase your connections. And then another thing is that YouTube will suggest content that's tailored to you based on the videos that you watch, how you interact with those videos, and how long you spend watching those videos. They will then suggest other videos that are similar to you. And that has actually helped me to find some of my favorite YouTube creators, because I went to a channel that somebody, had suggested to me, or I watched a video that somebody had sent me a link, and then I was like, ooh, I like these people. And that has opened up more opportunities for me to get to know and enjoy and learn from other channels. So don't get any of these benefits if you don't log in. Let's talk about how to get that done. First, if your email ends in @gmail.com, yay! you're done. You've already got a YouTube account. Even if you didn't know that you had a YouTube account, you already have a YouTube account. So the way that that works is when you're in your Gmail tab, when you're looking at your emails, if instead you look over to the right and there's 9 dots, you're going to click on those 9 dots and that opens up the Google Tools list or menu. And so it's got more than 30 things there. Yours is going to look different than mine because I have clicked and dragged my favorite things to the top of my list. So you're going to scroll down until you find the one that's YouTube, and you're going to click on that. And then it opens up YouTube for you, signed in already, so you have access to do all of those fun things in YouTube. Yay! So you're good to go if you have Gmail as your email. You don't need to watch the rest of this video. Thank you so much for the time that you have spent with us so far today. Thank you so much, and you have a great day. All right, if you are still with me, then I'm going to assume that you are needing to do something to create a YouTube account. So there's 2 ways to do this. The first one is you're going to use your current email. Now, benefits of that, it's quick and easy, and there's no new email for you to remember. And that's pretty much the benefits of why you'd want to use your current email. I'm going to strongly suggest that you do the other way to do this, which is to create a YouTube or Gmail account. And as I alluded to just a second ago, when you do that, you get access to all of Google's tools. There's over 30 tools or apps that you would have access to if you have a Gmail account. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to let anybody else know your Gmail account. You don't need to switch over and start using that for, email that you get from family and friends. You're just going to have a different email account, a Gmail account that you would use for however you decide to use it. For example, I have 4 different emails that I use for different things. I have one email that I use for friends and family, loved ones, for certain companies that I know and trust a lot to not spam me and not sell my email to other people. That's the one that I use. That's my main one. I check that one every day. That's my main email. But then I have another one that's garbage. It is filled with all kinds of junk. So when a company wants me to give them my email, in order for me to get information from them, I will use that garbage email, and I only check that probably about once a week, clean it up a little bit. I don't give that one to anybody else except for companies that are wanting my email so that they can then, spam me with a bunch of stuff that I don't want. But I really like the Google Tools. It actually helps me. I can easily share documents with other people, and we'll go through how to do that as we create other videos that cover the different Google tools and how to use them. But just know it opens up a whole world of possibilities for you to share things with others, to share calendars, to share documents, to share photos, to share all kinds of things for free. Free is good. We like free. So free access to be able to do all of those things. Both of these possible ways to create your YouTube account start with the same steps. So we're going to cover those same steps first, and then we'll go into the current email differences, and then we'll end with the Gmail account differences. So first thing you're going to do is start at youtube.com. If you're watching this video, you are already there. Yay! What you're going to do, and we've got this in the note sheet, so you can watch through this to see the whole thing, and then you can decide what you're going to do. And then you can actually do it. And if you go to our website, seniortechconnect.net, you can look at the note sheet, have that up on your computer screen, or you can print it out and follow the steps there. It's the same steps that I'm going to give you here. Watch this first before you actually try and do this so that you don't get lost. And so the first thing you're going to do is at youtube.com, you're going to look, and in the upper right there is a sign in. So you're going to click on sign in, and that's going to open in the sign in box, and you're going to click create account. And when you do that, it's going to pop up a little box that says, well, is this account for your personal use, for your child, or for your work or business? And so you're going to choose for my personal use, and then you're going to click next. That's the same whether you do any of the options. The first thing they're going to ask you for is to put in your name. You can give them your last name as well, but it's optional. And I just put in my first name and I click Next. And then it's going to ask you for your birthday and your gender. With the birthday, it's helpful to them. We were talking about the algorithm a little earlier, and it's helpful to them to know your age, because then they won't be suggesting to you ads that are for people, who are in their 20s. You will get more age appropriate, which just sounds so stodgy, but you'll get ads and things that are more geared toward your age until they can figure out, based on your interests, ads that would be based on that. And then your gender, you can tell them your gender, or you can say, I don't want to tell you my gender. And then there's this next screen. Now in this next screen, this is the screen where it then breaks off, because as you can see, it says you can enter your email address here, and I've entered mine, but then I, kind of blurred it out so you can't see that. But that's where your email address would go, or you can click the Get a Gmail address instead. These two places, this is where it splits and becomes different. So the first thing we're going to cover is what to do when you want to use your existing email. All right, so let's check out what you do then. It will be easiest if you start with 2 tabs open. So you've got your YouTube, because you're watching this video. So YouTube, you have a tab open to YouTube. You're also going to want to have your email program open in a tab. Now, if me talking about tabs and opening up a new tab so that your email tab is open and your YouTube tab is open, and that gives you a headache, or you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about, Liz, we do have a video called What's a Browser and Using Yours Better. And I'll put a link to that video in the description below this video, because if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you're going to want to watch that and get comfortable with opening up new tabs so that you can have your email program open and the YouTube tab open at the same time. And that video covers how to do that. I've done a quick little snippet of how to in the note sheet on page 3 of the note sheet for this video. Take a look at that, and if that gets you enough information, you can just kind of put the Browser Basics video in your list of ones that you want to learn, so that when people are talking about tabs and opening new tabs and things, you're not stressed. Because that's our goal here, is that we remove the fear. You're going to jump in, you're going to play with it. You're going to have these 2 open to start the process. And so before, remember, you gave them your email and you clicked Next. Now, as soon as you click Next, what happens is Google is sending a 6-digit code to the email that you just gave them, because they want to verify that you are the owner of this email. And so they're sending a code to that email. So you're going to click over to your emails and you're going to find the email that Google just sent you saying, hey, this is Google and we're sending you these codes. And so this is the latest version. When this video was made, this is what the email looked like. And so the numbers is down kind of in the middle of the email. As soon as you click Next, you gave them your email, you click Next, Google is sending you this code, and the screen that you then are on is the Verify Your Email. So then it says, hey, we just sent a code to the email that you gave them. If you don't see it, check your spam folder. Different email providers call it different things. So in some it's spam, some it's junk, but you're going to want to find, if it's not showing up in your main email folder, check the other folders just to make sure that it didn't get sent to one of those places. So once you find the Google email, you're going to take those. Currently, the code is 6 numbers long. Then take those numbers and type them into this Verify Your Email Address screen. And then you're going to click Next. So the next screen that comes up is to create a password. Different tips for the password. It needs to be at least 8 characters long, or you'll get an error that says we need at least 8 characters. It can be letters. So with letters, it can be capitalized letters or regular small letters. You can use numbers. You can use symbols. You want it to be something that you'll remember. And then I strongly suggest that you click on this little box here that says show the password, so you're actually seeing the word that you type instead of asterisks. That will help you so that you can then confirm that you are typing the same thing as they ask you to do the password and then do it again. Have it be something you'll remember. Now, this is not a financial password. It's not going to give anybody any access to anything financial, so it's okay if you write it down. It's okay if you have the browser remember the password for you. If you have a password manager, then of course that would take care of that. But if you are not currently using a password manager, then you are going to want to write it down so that you can get back in and have your browser remember that password for you. That's an okay thing. Now, some things to not do with a password. Please don't have it be just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then also not use the word password for password, not use password exclamation point, none of those. Don't have it be any significant name or date, not something guessable. Those are basic password tips. And once you come up with your password, you know you're going to remember it. You've got it written down so that it matches what you wrote down. Just double check that what you wrote down is what you typed in, that they match. And then go ahead and click next. And when you do that, it's going to ask you for your phone number. And you might be, oh, I don't want to give them my phone number. Well, okay, the phone number is helpful to them for account security. It can help you, unlock things later. They're not going to use it for anything. They're not selling it to other people. They're not going to let other people see it, but it's to help you with account security. You can decide to click next, enter in your phone number, click next, or you can decide to skip on that. And then the last step, it will say, okay, this is what you've given us so far, your name, Liz, and then my email address. And I look at that and I'm like, yep, that looks good. And I click next. Once I click next, it's going to then go to privacy and terms, which is long. And if you're like most people, you're just going to scroll and you're going to click I agree. But Google has other plans. They have other options available, and it's got the expander that it's saying, well, there's more options here. They deal with saving things to your Google account, with personalizing things, saving your history, those options. You can confirm the choices that they have made, or you can click the different circle than the one that they have pre-filled in for you. You can choose and do the other one. So totally personal preference for you. You decide what way you want to do that. And then you can also say, hey, would you send me occasional reminders about these settings? And that's really handy if you've made non-default choices, because they will just periodically, they'll send you a reminder about, hey, there's some options. You might want to come over to your settings and look at those options. You can click on that box here, the send me occasional reminders, and then you would click I agree. Now, once you click I agree, ta-da, you are done. You have created your account. So now let's go back and do the other way, which is to create the Google account. Lots of similar steps here. So with that, you're going to start at youtube.com like you did before. You're going to click the sign in, and in the upper right, that opens up the box. You're going to click create account. You're going to choose for my personal use, and you're going to click next. Then remember, it's going to ask you for your first name. It's going to ask you for your birth date and gender, and then it goes to this screen. So with this screen, we just covered what to do if you want to use your current address. Instead, you're going to click this little part below here that says, I want to get a Gmail address instead. Once you do that, it's going to say, okay, based on your first name that you've given me, it's going to have like some initials if you've given first and last name, or if your first name has like two different names. It'll give you some initials and then some randomly selected numbers. I did not choose either of those. Instead, I chose, I want to create my own. So then in this box, I thought, ooh, what could be a fun Gmail? What I actually did was I put in the email that I had in another account, but that it would end in Gmail instead of the email provider that I use currently. It does need to be between 6 and 30 characters long. So as you put your idea of what would be a good Gmail address, you can use letters, So it can be caps and smalls. With email addresses, it really doesn't matter whether it's capitalized or small. They don't look at that. It can be letters, it can be numbers, and you can use periods. You can't use other symbols, but you can use periods. As you try, sometimes you might get this error that says that username is already taken, try another. Keep trying until you get one that goes green, yay, and then it will take you to that same password screen. So just remember, with a password, you are going to want to follow those same rules. It's got to be at least 8 characters. You're going to want to make it a strong password. You can use letters and numbers and symbols, and you want to make it something usable, and you want to click that show password box. Once you click next there, it's going to take you to a screen that says add recovery email. Now this one we haven't seen before. So what's this? Well, Google knows you probably have more than one email account. Go ahead and give us another email, and that helps with what they call recovery. A lot of websites now that have you log in are giving you the option, it's optional, see it says skip, but it's giving you the option to put this. So what happens then is, for example, when I log in to my Gmail account from a different computer, from like my laptop that I hardly ever use, I actually get a security warning at the email that I give them for recovery that says, hey, looks like somebody just logged into your Gmail account from a different device than the ones that we normally see you do. So this helps you to be aware if somebody's trying to do bad things with your email, right? If it's suddenly being logged into from somewhere across the world, chances are that wasn't you, and they're letting you know that. And so then you can get in, you can change your password, you can avoid problems of somebody, stealing or hacking into your stuff. I think it's a great option. And also those days when you forget your password and you exceed the number of times that you're allowed to try and it locks your account, that recovery email can help you unlock your account. Strongly suggest that you add the recovery email. And then the other ones we've seen, they give you the option to, for security, put in your phone number, and then they give you the chance to review your account. So they'll say your name and the email that you have now to log in with, which is an @Gmail, but it's reminding you just in case you tried several different options and you couldn't remember which one finally went through. This screen shows you. And then when you click next, remember it's the Google privacy and terms. Now this time, if you do what most people do, and you just scroll down and you click I agree, another box pops up and it says, okay, well, we want you to confirm that we are going to personalize things for you as part of this account. So you can click on the more options and that shows you the same thing that we looked at before, or you can click confirm. And then as soon as you click confirm, ta-da, it opens up your YouTube account with you being signed in, and you can then utilize all of YouTube's functions, so you will be able to do all of these wonderfully amazing things. Yay! Like I said, we'll cover a lot of these in other videos. We have a basic YouTube video, and then we have several others that deal with more functions within YouTube. And then we also will be creating ones that deal with more functions within your Google account. You'll be able to learn all the fun things that you'll be able to do there. All right, thank you again so much for choosing to spend some of your time with us today. Thank you for watching this video. Most importantly, thank you for making our world a better place to be. Thank you for the difference that you are making with the people that you interact with. And thank you so much for sharing us with your friends and family. That is the thing that helps our channel to grow the most, and also helps you to be learning things with friends and family. And then just a reminder that you can see all of the different videos that we have created, and all of them have a note sheet that goes along with the video, including the one for this video that walks you through all the steps that we went through. So you can follow the steps in the note sheet. And then to help our channel grow, we've talked about this, yay! Please click on that like button below this video, and then add a comment or a question. So if there's suggestions that you have for other topics you'd like us to cover, that's a great way, a great place for you to do that. Another place where you can let us know what videos would be helpful to you is to hop on over to our Facebook group. We also would ask that you subscribe to the channel. Those are the 3 things that help our channel to grow with YouTube suggesting our channel to others who have similar interests as you do or are in a similar demographic as you are. Thank you so very much for all that you're doing to share us and for all that you are doing to make the world a better place to be. We have included videos here that you may want to watch next. So one of them is the browser basics, the what's a browser and using yours better, because that was mentioned in this video. And then others that are on this are here for you to click on to watch next. They are based on the ones that are the most popular with us. So thanks again for all that you're doing to help others and yourself to be better connected with your loved ones, with our community here at Senior Tech Connect, and with our world. Thanks again and have a great day.